When most people first learn about astrology, the first thing they discover is their sun sign, the zodiac sign determined by the date of their birth. And while it has value and speaks to certain qualities, it is only one piece of a much larger picture, because the deeper layers of astrology reveal that the rising sign, also called the ascendant, holds a central role in how the world sees us and how we begin our journey through life. The rising sign is not determined by the day of birth alone, but by the exact moment and location, because it is the constellation that was rising on the eastern horizon at the time you entered the world. And this fleeting alignment shifts approximately every 2 hours, making it far more personal and specific than the sun sign. To understand why the rising sign is so crucial, it helps to see the birth chart as a circle, a cosmic map divided into 12 houses, and the rising sign marks the very first house, the gateway through which all other planetary influences are filtered, shaping the lens through which we interpret life. While the sun sign speaks of the core essence, the inner identity, and the spirit that fuels us, the rising sign describes the mask we wear, the style of our approach, the first impression we give, and the way we navigate new beginnings, making it the face of our chart. Many people read their horoscope based solely on the sun sign and feel it doesn't always resonate. And this is because horoscopes in newspapers or magazines are simplified and not tailored to one's ascendant, which would actually provide a more accurate reflection of daily experiences. For example, someone with a Leo sun might be radiant and full of pride at their core, but if they have a Virgo rising, the world perceives them as careful, precise, and reserved. So their outer presence and daily demeanor may not match the fiery qualities described in general sun sign descriptions. The rising sign also sets the framework for the houses, which are areas of life such as career, relationships, health, and home. And since the ascendant determines the starting point, it influences how planets are distributed across these houses, shaping the unique map of every individual. Astrologers from ancient times recognized this importance because they used the exact birth time to cast charts, and they saw the ascendant not just as an outer mask, but as a compass pointing toward the soul's journey, the orientation of life's lessons, and the unfolding path of destiny. The sun, of course, is vital. It represents the essence of who we are deep down. But without the rising sign, its light does not have a clear direction, because the ascendant provides the horizon line, the stage upon which the sun and all the other planets play their roles. Think of the sun as the script of a play and the rising sign as the stage and costume. The words may be the same, but the way they are delivered, interpreted, and perceived depends entirely on the ascendant, making it a decisive factor in how life is experienced. When we meet someone for the first time, we rarely perceive their sun sign immediately, because that is hidden within. Instead, what we notice is their rising sign energy, their posture, their tone of voice, the way they introduce themselves, making it the face they show to the world. For this reason, two people with the same sun sign can appear entirely different, because one may have an Aries rising, exuding boldness and spontaneity, while the other may have a Pisces rising, appearing gentle, mystical, and elusive, though both share the same solar essence underneath. Astrologers also observe that the rising sign colors physical appearance and bodily traits, influencing how features are expressed, and while this is not rigid or absolute, patterns have been observed across centuries, linking certain ascendants with distinct mannerisms, styles, and even body language. In traditional astrology, the ascendant was seen as the most personal marker of the chart, because while millions of people share the same sun sign, far fewer share the same rising sign due to its rapid shift, making it a unique stamp of individuality. The importance of the ascendant becomes even clearer when we examine planetary rulerships, because each rising sign is ruled by a planet, and that ruling planet becomes the chart ruler, holding special weight in the interpretation of life events and personal development. For instance, if your rising sign is Libra, then Venus is your chart ruler, and its position in the chart takes on added significance, shaping your style, relationships, and sense of harmony. even more strongly than what your sun sign alone might suggest. This principle was deeply respected by ancient astrologers, who often began chart readings not with the sun, but with the ascendant and its ruling planet, since they believed this revealed the foundation of a person's life and the path their soul had chosen to walk. Modern astrology, however, became simplified in popular culture, especially during the 20th century, when sun sign columns became fashionable because they were easy to publish and accessible to readers, though they lost the depth of rising sign interpretation. Yet, when we return to the classical understanding, we find that the rising sign acts like the key to unlocking the entire chart, showing not just personality, but timing, cycles, and the way life unfolds in practical, observable ways. Consider transits, the movements of planets across the sky. They interact with the houses in our chart, and because the rising sign determines the house placements, knowing your ascendant allows you to understand where and how current planetary movements are affecting you. This is why many people find that reading horoscopes for their rising sign often resonates more closely than reading for their sun sign, because the rising sign provides the actual map of life's areas, giving more precise clues about what is unfolding in the moment. The ascendant also speaks to our approach to challenges and opportunities, the way we step into the world each morning, and the face we put forward in times of uncertainty, making it not just a mask, but a vital part of our life's navigation system. In deeper spiritual terms, the rising sign can be seen as the way the soul chooses to enter the world, the orientation of its earthly journey, and the vehicle through which the inner essence of the sun and the emotions of the moon find expression in the material plane. It is not about dismissing the sun sign, but about recognizing that without the ascendant, the sun's light cannot fully shine into the structure of a life, because the rising sign frames everything, from the flow of daily routines to the way destiny unfolds. Understanding the rising sign allows us to accept the contradictions within ourselves, because many people struggle when they do not fully identify with their sun sign, and the ascendant explains why our outward lives may look different from our inner essence. It teaches us that we are not one-dimensional, but layered beings, with an inner flame, an emotional current, and an external presence, all interwoven. And only when we see the rising sign do we begin to appreciate the complexity of the astrological map. The ascendant matters more than the sun sign, not because it replaces it, but because it contextualizes it, placing the sun into a lived framework, showing how the spirit of the sun actually moves through the real-world stages of health, work, love, and growth. When we recognize this, astrology shifts from a flat label into a dynamic and personal guide, and we begin to see that knowing our rising sign is essential if we truly want to understand the pattern of our lives. And so, the next time you hear someone ask, "What's your sign?" perhaps the better question is, "What's your rising?" Because within that lies the key to how you meet the world, how the world meets you, and how the journey of your soul unfolds.